Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this deck casual. I am thrilled to have oil painter Diana, also known as Wonder Woman, joining me to talk about her Clair-E-Tea Oracle. So,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me, first of all.
oh,
It's always a pleasure to join you.
well, thank you. And full disclosure, this was gifted to me last year. And I am happy to share with you my honest opinions about it just because it was gifted to me.
Awesome.
And of course, I am Tarot Stash. Thank you for being here. And thank you for those who are watching the playback. I appreciate that. And again, this is for entertainment purposes only. Do not make decisions based upon what we say. Seek professional assistance. Really? And please purchase responsibly. Know your limits. We are here to share, not to sell. However, if you are interested in acquiring a copy of this 28 card oracle deck, you would do so by contacting Diana in the at the email listed below. So, how's that? Did I cover all of that stuff?
You did.
Okay.
You did better than me. I'm like, whoa. Okay. I'm so glad you're the one running it down.
So, well, and I'm looking forward to this. And again, I do want everybody to Diana is an extremely gifted reader. So if you would like a reading, what else do you do? I mean, you do readings, Akashic Records, astrology,
mediumship, art. I make salves, kitchen witchery. What else do I do? I call myself small batch brewing as far as any product that goes out. Grow sweetgrass and braid that up, and
yes,
that as well. But for the most part, I just do it because I like being in service.
Of course.
Right? I mean, like all of us.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's say hi to a few people. We have Kaylee Fogo Pogo, who is here, and Teresa Levine. Hello. Hi. Callie Healer has joined us, who is work lurking. And Maureen is here. Hello, Maureen. We have Karen from Starseed Awakening 1111. Good to see you. Jenny Berlin. And Delphi Ross is here. Hello, Delphi. So yes, and Jenny said, "How nice, Diana, to be in service." So
thank you, Jenny. Thank you. Thank you.
Linda Kennedy is here. Hello, Linda. Good to see you. Now, some of you, if you were subscribed to Diana's channel, Diana, you show up a little bit everywhere, don't you?
I do. I keep trying to say, okay, you got to put some work into this channel. But, sometimes right now, it's just not working out because let's just say I'm a flighty Gemini.
Okay. Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with flighty Geminis. Janet BC is here. Great to see you. So, okay, so let me ask you this.
Sure.
We have this, here, I'll do this. Here's the back of the cards. Yeah. I'll do that. But could you tell us, when did you become inspired to create an oracle deck?
Well, first off, that picture right there is one of my favorite little flowers to grow in the garden. It's got a couple of different names. It's called Love on a Mist, Mist in the Garden, Love in the Garden. And it grows these little blue flowers that can turn pink or blue, just like, oh my goodness, no, it's not Coreopsis. There's another flower that imitates this. But as these grow, they turn into these pods that are
Yes.
purple and green.
Mm-hmm.
And these purple and green pods, you can go and purchase them, and you get a small bundle for like $25 or whatever. And I thought, I can grow these. And so I started growing them years ago when I lived in Virginia. Inside those little pods are the next season's self-seeding in your garden.
Sure, sure.
There's like 100 seeds or more in each pod.
Yeah.
And an abundant group of them growing. You've got plenty to go around to friends and so on. They're the size of poppy seeds. So, you know.
Okay. So they're small. Yeah.
Right. And I meant to bring the original picture. I just got it out and it's in the studio. So I'm comfortable. We're good. It's on the back of the card. But you can see the colors of the bloom itself much better.
Yeah.
That's
this is actually, I have to say, my camera is picking up the colors pretty well of this.
It sure is. It sure is.
So, and
I think we might rely on yours because my ring light is overabundant.
Yeah. And hi, Millie. Good to see you. And okay, Linda Kennedy asked me, Gerald, it's fall. Are you still thinking about a tarot class? Yes, probably in the winter. So starting in January. So stay tuned for that. I'm working on it. And and Jenny Berlin said, looks like beautiful cotton growing. I'm fascinated by clouds.
You know, it reminds me of that too. They're oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank in the garden right now, but I'm sorry.
No. And Sherry, Voices from the Swamp, has caught us live and not on replay. Good to see you. Rossi has joined us. Hi, Rossi. And the amazing Jane, the Secret Tarot, is here. Hello, Jane. Good to see you. So it's great to see everybody. But of course, Linda, if you know, we could do some one-on-one stuff if you wanted. So
sure.
Susan Funes has joined us. Great to see you. And Millie is starting dinner. So I hope it's a delicious dinner. So, all right. So okay, so you're an artist.
Yeah.
And but you know, so when did it become apparent that you were going to be creating a deck?
Well, I so many of us like to use a lot of different decks when I read, right? Yes. And I can be sitting on the floor in what I call the moon lodge, because that is really my meditation room, etc.
Love that.
And the whole carpet is covered in cards.
Mm-hmm.
God, I've got to be able to make something that can incorporate so many of these different energies, because different styles of art are an inspiration, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't think of any other way except to invent this game board. And this is what is so fascinating to me, because I am going through these things and getting these downloads in dreams and just in meditation and just when Merlin is talking to me. And at the same time, Nancy Jean from Crystal Garden, she's getting the downloads for her silk scarf, Crystal Garden.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that I kept thinking of was, how do I do this without a game board? I don't want to end up on the kids' game shelf like a Ouija board.
Sure.
You know, it's not about that. This is a tool. This is a magical tool. So Merlin just said, so why don't you just start with what you know? Go with the basics. Don't be looking to do a whole tarot deck, inventing new things.
Right.
So that's how this started. Unbeknownst to Nancy or myself, that we're doing these things simultaneously. So there was no particular order in which I drew them, except to start with the 4 seasons, because That's where we start. That's the four directions: east, south, west, north, etc.
And I'm going to, because I know people are watching and they're interested in the cards. I'm going to hold up some of the cards. This is the first card, which is winter.
Right.
We have spring.
Yep.
We have summer.
Yep.
And we have autumn.
Right.
So those were the first four cards that you created.
Those were the first four and the only ones that had a particular order at the time of creation.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So when I got through the four seasons, I think I jumped right then and there to Wonder Woman, because I relate. My name's Diana. My birthday is June 9th. There's a Saint Diana whose birthday is June 9th. And I've always related to her. My mother named me Diana for a reason. I'm not sure what that was at the time, except that it was very popular in 1949.
Right. My
mother also grew up, reading Wonder Woman comic books.
Well, okay, so I did that horrible thing to where I said, Diana, think about your favorite cards and we'll talk about those. Well, it's like asking a parent which is their favorite child, because after my parents would say me, then they would have to pick somebody else. But this is actually one of my favorite cards.
Awesome.
And so I want to pause for a second, and I want to tell everybody, if you order this deck, again, purchase responsibly, know your limits. These are about keys. So I mean, and you get an information and encouragement to put your own spin on things. Trust yourself. Because personally, I think every tool should come with those instructions. Trust yourself. There are numbers. The cards are numbered, and you actually say, sometimes they're hard to see. Sometimes they're very apparent. Do those numbers mean something to you? And then you get a list of the keys and what you were thinking about.
Right.
So okay, that's a long way around of saying the one thing is this is the card of truth. And it says, superhero, ask for help. Even superheroes know their power comes from a higher source. So I love the idea of even superheroes know when to ask for help.
Right.
Right.
If we think about all of the Wonder Woman movies, she was very seldom on her own. She was defending and protecting, but she usually had a counterpart come and join her.
Yes.
And I lived in Virginia when the second movie came out. And if you look at her breastplate, it is the insignia from the second movie, where now we have the hawk's head and not just the W on her chest.
Yeah.
And it came out on my birthday and in Virginia, so you could go see it, right? And so one of my best friends took me to see it. But there's a correlation with Wonder Woman in the whole story of the gentleman who created the character.
Oh, okay.
Right. And because of course it's based on Diana, but she was an Amazon rather than Diana. Right. We think of her from the Greek pantheon or the Roman pantheon. And so there's a whole bunch that goes along with that. And having been raised Catholic, I went to school taught by nuns who kept saying, no, you can only have Saint Anne. There's no Saint Diana. Well, that's not true, because the feast day of Saint Diana is June 9th, which is my birthday. So how connected was my mom? Very, because she was the tarot card reader that I, met. And that started at a very cradle age. So,
I love that.
Right.
And yeah, Diana and I did a casual last month. That is linked below. So if you want to know more about Diana, you can. It's there. We're having a lot of love for the deck. And Linda de Gonzalez is here. Hello, Linda.
Hey, Sister Mary.
There you go. Yes. Yes, the Amazon princess. So,
yep.
So
that's, that's one. But there are cards of stillness. There are cards of action. There are cards of, well, you just have to interpret them for yourself. Those little keys are just to trigger a thought if you come up blank. But as you use them, you develop your own relationship with them. Like the number 1 card, Winter, calm but complicated.
Yes.
Snowflakes all have 6 points. Snowflakes go through a procedure that changes 6 times in order for it to be a snowflake. And then it has to pile up without melting. And if you think about how much snow has fallen when the whole city of Cleveland or Detroit is covered in 8 inches of snow, I mean, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And just to give everybody, just to let everybody see how large the deck is, the cards are 2.5 by 2.5 inches by 3 3/4 inches, or about 6.5 centimeters by 9.5 centimeters. So you can see that. And true to, I mean, these are small batches. You get them and then you order them from a local printer. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And so,
just Tim and I are the only 2 that touch it.
So I think that's pretty amazing. So,
well, that was a very big part of why I went this way, was because, hey, I have just as many of those beautiful decks as everybody else.
Yes.
Maybe even more. And I love them. The artwork triggers me. It makes my soul sing. But I wanted something that was more old school.
Sure.
Because I am a witch, and I wanted that one-on-one feeling that I have put a connection into here. And that connection is going to be transferred to you, even though it's a print and not the original artwork.
Right. Yes.
I only even order them 25 decks at a time. I don't stockpile a bunch of them.
Right. Right. Because you want the energy and you set the intention. If you've done your 25, also as a witch, intention is everything.
Right.
So, and also just to let people know, do you know the level of cardstock?
It's thick. It's the same cardstock as Pamela Coleman Smith's anniversary deck.
And I would say it's shuffleable. Since it's small, you can overhand it, you can riffle, shuffle, and all that stuff. It is not overly glossy.
Right.
So I'm not a fan of glossy things because I can't show them here.
Even my antique pottery and vases, I like the flat mats better.
Yeah. So, and Kiba is here. Hello, Kiba. Good to see you.
I love her name.
Yes. So, okay. How about we just show some cards and we talk about them, because I think this is one of those things. Garnet says Diana makes cards, tarot. They are her design. Yes. Every
single one.
Yes.
And so what I did was, like go around getting the things that inspire me.
Mm-hmm.
Like the number 9 card, the Sanctuary card.
Uh-huh.
He's a real person. He builds these incredible cairns. Thank you. Your camera is much better. He builds these incredible cairns in the woods. And when I first moved here to back to Michigan, I found this place to go walking, and I stumbled upon this village all through the woods that led me through to this trail where when you got down to the small lake that he was on all the time, there's this hidden in the trees, under the birch trees, in the path, and in the center of it all is this huge tower that he builds that's taller than him.
Oh, wow.
And he's
so
a
that
little guy.
becomes-
He's not very tall. I'm taller than
Uh-huh.
he is, and I'm probably only 5'5" these days. But he has that mustache, and he's definitely a man of the woods. He does Tai Chi. He's in his 60s. He's semi-retired. He still kind of works part-time at the GM plant.
Sure.
And,
Sure.
I mean, he's a regular guy, but he is connected to Gaia.
I love it.
And he, before I met him, he gave me so much sanctuary in that. Because I got here, and what happened was we all went into shutdown with COVID, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That was someplace I could go and not worry about who's there,
I love
especially
that.
during the day.
I love that. Okay, so we've shown card 1, which is winter.
Mm-hmm.
And so card 2 is spring.
Right. And what do you see? Let's go play. However, where's everybody to play? There's still work to be done, the spring cleaning, but remember to take a break, get the kids out. But before you go in the sandbox, check to make sure the kittens and possums haven't been there. Clean
Exactly.
out,
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. You've got to remind yourself to take a break in the spring.
Yes. And I think the other thing about the spring is there's a big push of energy. And in order to have that push of energy be maintained and get us into summer, you absolutely have to rest. You have to take a nap, because all that dust and all of that stuff that we're releasing from the winter makes perfect sense. Oops.
Right.
It helps if I show summer.
Now, summer, all the hard work is done. Especially looking at it from old world farmer, and I live in farm territory here in Michigan. So, okay, there's a lot of farms around me. Once the fields are in and it gets so far, you don't do anything. You got to let it grow. Now's the time to go take a break. Go sit by a lake, have a sandwich, take a boat ride. Just enjoy the day and the peacefulness that the end of July, beginning of August starts to give us.
Yes.
As we get to that first harvest, and then into Mebon and the second harvest.
Yep, absolutely. And then we have autumn.
Yep. And that is our magic. The last season of the year, because the year begins when Samhain ends and we go into winter. So that is the first season of the year. The fourth season is we pay to the west.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that right there.
Absolutely.
The magic of all.
Absolutely. Well, and I like how, when we look at this, I mean, do we have a fairy? Do we have an angel? What do we have? And,
exactly.
So.
And it's just so magical, because the trees, if you're lucky enough to have a 4-season area that you live in, the maple trees, the oaks with their regal maroons and brown and fantastic greens, and it's just so rich in color. Yeah. It's mystical, magical, all on its own, just by breathing in the air.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, and then we have weigh it out.
Yep.
As you call it. So.
Yeah. I have this scale. It was my grandmother's.
I love that.
And it also looks like the dial of a clock.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you have to weight on? What is the weight of? So weigh it out. Is it something purchased responsibly? Is it something you absolutely need? Or, anything that comes up? Is it, okay, you have to wait to make a decision. And so sometimes that is think twice, speak once, right?
Yes. Oh, of course.
Wait till you have more information. So that is helping you find the balance and when is the right time to strike.
I love that. And then we have card 6, which is heritage.
Yes. Well, it's the old Polish Ukrainian border that was shifting forever and a day, but this is Polish dance costume.
And you are Polish royalty, if I remember correctly.
That's right. King Poniatowski is my great grandfather. So, and Napoleon killed his nephew, as he did not have any children to take the throne, but he abdicated the throne. So what this represents is, are you walking away from this heritage? We don't wear those clothes anymore unless we're doing a festival or going to watch dancers, but they're walking up that hill together.
Yes.
So what do you see here? Do you see the union? It is a 6. And so there's balance in that 6 by itself. But they're walking up to the top of the hill. Have they reached their destination? This is the pinnacle. Now, where do you go from here? Do you stay up there? You know, do you have to go back down? So it just depends on how it falls into your reading, of course, because there's things of our heritage we don't let go of anyway, like me and the king, right? Or me and the Christmas tree, or me and some of the things from the Catholic Church.
Right. Well, and it's also an important thing you had mentioned in the keys here is discard, or do you modify to fit your needs? And I think modification is a really important important thing.
Well, especially when you're trying to use my Busha, the great grandmother's recipe for punchkis.
Oh,
well, you take a handful of butter, this big,
some of this, some of that, yeah. It's crazy.
And they were perfect every time, but
of course it was, because that's how they cooked, and So then we have card 7, which you call luck.
Yep. You already have it in your hand. It's the gypsy wagon I want to see in my backyard. It's me. I'm not really a palm reader, but it's every single one of us who read for sitters, who read, or people that come to visit us. And we don't see who that person is, but she's already got the information in her hand.
Yes.
And the soothsayer is bringing it to her attention.
I love that. I love that. And
that woman actually lived. She is in a photograph of a gypsy. She had a cigarette hanging out of her mouth, which I left out of the text because I didn't want it to block anything. And but she wasn't reading somebody's hand. She was just sitting there with a cigarette in her mouth. So
there you go. And then we have one of my favorite cards, which is 8, which is conjure.
Yes, the Cauldron.
Yes. And one of the things that I love about this is in the keys, you actually say, let things simmer. Yep. And I'm like, that's wisdom right there.
Right. Well, and as I was thinking of Serduin as I created this card. Now I have to tell you that my fingers were the paintbrushes. I bought, blank cards like Lilac Lantern did. So many people had done that, but I bought these little ones for an oracle deck. And so it's cardstock with the shiny surface. And I used Sharpie, ultra fine, permanent marker, and just blended with my finger to get all of the mingled color that you see in there.
Yeah.
So when you look into the background, you can see all these different little faces that they formed themselves. I didn't make those. They formed through me pushing the paint around with my fingers.
I love that.
And so this also can be like the story of the little red hen. You're slaving away and everybody's not helping, but they're looking to eat your, pizza or your bread or whatever you're making.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But this was really, I was thinking of Serduin at first when I created this, which in a way is kind of like the story of the gingerbread man.
Sure.
because, you know, everything that goes along the way till we get to Taliesin, and at the end of the story where Sarduin gives birth to Taliesin at the end, because she turns herself into a chicken that eats the wheat that he had turned himself into to avoid her as she chased him all around, because that mix in the cauldron was supposed to be for her ugly son, whose
Yeah.
father wanted to kill him.
Right.
And he didn't get it. It had to cook for a year and a day. So,
Right.
with that knowledge of a year and a day, how long do you need to make your stew simmer?
Right.
This could be something way in the distance.
Absolutely. And Hershey, the Shadow Reader, is here, who is working on her deck.
Awesome.
And hello. And Janet Lee G is here. And yes, any good stew needs to marinate.
Right.
So.
And it's always better the next day anyway.
Oh, I think so. And we did talk about 9, which is
Yes.
the architect of Sanctuary.
Yeah.
And then we have card 10.
Krampus.
Yes.
That's the old world Krampus devil that is. So the feast day of St. Nicholas is on the 6th. The feast day of Krampus is on the 5th.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't get them, you know, you try to make every kid be good, because if you hear Krampus's bells, he's coming to get you. You've been naughty. Yeah. That's the old legend from Heritage.
And Purple Elephant Deb H is here. And you know, so this is Purple Elephant Deb H approved. She said, I love this deck for a clarifier.
Thank you. Yes, it's a great clarifier.
Yes.
One of the things when I have sitters in public, I have them pull 3 cards out of this.
Oh, okay.
Set the bottom deck aside. I fan them out and I say, pick 3, especially when they say, well, I don't know what to ask, because this is their first time sitting, right? Yeah. So, all right, let's see what the energy is about. And then I flip them over and I tell them, tell me which one you want me to flip first. Mm-hmm. And before you know it, we are exactly at the heart of what they really want.
I love that. I love that. Yes.
And then I do a typical tarot card reading. And then we flip over the bottom of the Clair-E-Tea deck and see what the rising energy is against that. And then now they often find, oh, well, they still got time on the clock.
Yeah.
They have another question.
Exactly.
Now. So it's good for that, just to warm your sitter up, especially if it's something they've never done before.
So then we have card 11, which is called Light.
Yeah. The illumination. I own that lamp. It's an antique from the mid 50s, late 40s, mid 50s. And it's deal number 11. So portal time, right?
Yep. Oh, of course.
Right.
Of course. And then we have card 12, which is alignment.
Right.
So
from chakras to your divine self, aligning with the higher self.
Yep. Yeah. And I think this is a powerful card, especially as a clarifier, depending upon where it falls and when you pull it.
Yeah.
It could be a great indication of you need to be paying more attention to this. So
yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or it solidifies that you're on the right path.
Yes.
Because, you know, the other thing I liked, I did 28 cards for the sake of doing a grand tableau, because the story, after I put them in order and then put numbers to them and went, wow, there's 28 cards here, right?
Yes.
And as the numbers formulated themselves, as I put them in order, I went, oh, this is perfect for a tableau, because they all can intermingle.
Right.
But the other thing that I found works really well is when you use them like you do Nancy Jean's Garden. So body, mind, spirit, grounding, and clarity.
There you go.
Which is how crazy, right?
Uh-huh.
This deck works really well with any tarot deck, but it really works well with the Pamela Coleman Smith Rider-Waite.
Yes. And we did talk about card 13, which is Truth, the superhero.
Yep.
And so now we have card 14.
Time for Wonder Woman to take a break. She's
Yep.
looking out her cabin window. There's no ogres coming her way. She's reflecting on everything she does in the mirror. There she is, Battlestar Galactica.
Uh-huh.
But her hair is down and, braided easily. And she's not tangled up. She's just taking a break.
Right. And this card is called Courage. You called this one Courage. And I love that. Taking care of yourself and doing the things that you need.
Right.
So I think that's amazing.
Which is a good place for us to look at this card, because we're all there right now with all of this work that we're having to do as light workers.
Yes.
This planet on an even keel. Yeah. And with all that's going on because of the solar flares.
Oh, of course. Hi, Liz and all. Good to see you.
Liz.
And then we have card 15, which you called Tempest.
Yes. There's no one at the helm. You're both going to run ashore if you don't get out of that hiding spot of yours and take that helm. It's a storm.
Yes. Yes.
And
yeah.
You're going to end up the same way no matter what. So you might as well try.
There you go. You might as well try. You heard, you heard Diana say that. So there you go. Then we have card 16, which you called Up or Down. Yes,
it's up or down. But it can also be, and quite often it comes up as like the stairway to heaven, because the angel cards come after that. It's just uncanny. But if you are trying to rise, you must leave some things behind.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't watch your step going up, you're going to fall back down.
Yes.
Now, these are things that I have on my stairway.
Uh-huh. Okay.
It's just because, Mama said, get that crap off the stairway. No.
Oh, of course.
We're still piling stuff on the stairway, and it changes with whatever season it is. But so that was winter, and it's like, okay, what are you leaving behind as you go forward in your life?
Sure.
Some people will not follow you because they are not on the same level. That's not offensive. That's just the way it is. Or geography gets in the way. You're up there in Michigan and they're down there in Virginia. How much of a relationship can we still have other than phone? Right.
And Kaylee said it also looks like people walking into pews in a church.
I never thought of that.
My mind saw first. And that's an important thing. I mean, I love that. So, all right. So then we have card 17, which you call Sharing.
Yep. So now this is at the top of the stairs. And at the top of my stairs, there's a railing and a closet door. And there's really 2 bedrooms up on that end of the house. Uh-huh. So you can tell by that mirror, there's a dresser there. This is about, who do you let in? Who do you tell the whole truth to? Who do you let your hair down to? This also is remindful of the way I was brought up and many generations afterwards, my own kids. And before me, don't close that door in that bedroom. Don't go in anybody's closets. Don't open anybody's drawers. That's not your stuff. You have no right to go snooping.
Uh-huh.
Right. And so now you've made it to the top. You've got to be careful with what you do to others and who you let in close to you.
Correct. I love that. That is followed by card 18, which is Flamingo.
Yep. share yourself. I mean, show your colors. If
Yep.
you've ever watched flamingos, especially during mating season, there's always one that's profiling. He pops his head up higher than the others. When he turns his head and then turns his body, the whole 30 clutch of them turn around and follow him. And then he does it again and goes back in the other direction. It's like they never go anywhere, but they're just strutting their stuff. Don't be afraid to strut your stuff.
Yes.
We all get out on the dance floor. It doesn't matter what we look like out there.
Right.
So it's also, like, mix it up, have some fun.
Oh, absolutely. And I love that idea of it's just like, be willing to show your colors even in a crowd.
Yep.
I think that's a really good point. Then we follow that up with card 19, which is Raven.
Yes. Of course, everything that you know about Raven, magical. Now, the other thing about this card is that's a real bird. I have Native American friend who lives in Alaska. And her husband and her have a thing for ravens. And of course, they're out on the steppes, and everything is frozen on this tundra and an icy, icy day. And the ravens love them. And this bird is sitting on his side view mirror on his F-140 truck, right? And he gets this picture of it. So they have a big raven collection in their home, and I painted her this picture, but on the steppe. You know what I mean by it's the land part of the steppe. But rather than having it all icy, I gave her colors and gave her the aurora borealis, so that she knew it was definitely her bird up there in Alaska.
I love it. And then we have the bear, which is card 20.
Right.
Yeah.
Now that's the card of stillness. And this one is contemplation. He doesn't care if he catches anything. He'd be more active in the water. He doesn't care. He's just sitting there thinking about what to do next. What did he just go through? Does he need to have any action? This is just, and we enter, Brahma is, our third eye. It is our crown chakra. It is the cave inside of our own head. That is in India, it's represented by the Brahma bear. And here in Native American culture, it is the same thing. It is the car of the animal of the West and entering the silence, the cave.
Yeah.
So that represents stillness and meditation.
I love that. Hi, Bora Bora. It's good to see you. And then we go to card 21, which is Owl.
Another card of stillness. Owl hides, is hard to see, camouflaged by the bark of a tree, even without any leaves on it. And I used to rescue owls and all raptors, but in particular, what is beautiful about them is their ears. One is up high and one is down low, because they cock their head to hear any predators above or anything that he might want to eat above. And even if there is snow on the ground, he can hear a mouse in a snowbank a mile away.
Yes.
He is not like red-tailed hawks. Most hawks, especially Cooper, will be very opportunistic and eat whatever is present, even if their crop is so full they don't have any more room for food. But owl will not, because owl has to upchuck.
Right.
The other birds can digest everything, but he has to upchuck. He cannot digest the bones, and he cannot digest the fur. And so he has to get that fur ball out of his throat.
Right.
So we call those owl pellets. And the other thing is, squirrel.
Well, MK is here and says, OMG, These are so gorgeous. I just got here.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And Gigi Pardo Lord is here. Hello, Gigi. It's been a long
Hi,
time.
Gigi.
And then, yeah, Kaylee says, definitely looks like he's judging us.
Right.
Either that or we woke him up. Pretty
And
sure I look like that in the morning.
And he's silent. So the
Yep.
thing about, the other thing is he has 14 vertebrae in his neck. We only have 7. We can turn our neck halfway around. He can turn his head almost all the way around
Right.
because he has 14 vertebrae. He has
Uh-huh.
huge eyes because his skull is so small. He cannot, God, the creator gave him the 14 vertebrae because his eye sockets are so small and he has these long rods for eyeballs. And he can't turn them. He can't, like we can circle them around. He doesn't have room for muscles.
Right.
So because of that, he is the silent keeper.
Yeah, that's
And
beautiful.
wisdom keeper.
Yeah. And then we have card 22, which is the praying mantis.
Another stillness card, but now we have 22, another portal, right? And so we can think of praying mantis because it looks like he's sitting in prayer. But what we have to realize is that their life cycle is so strange, and the female gets such a bad rap. Yes, they will eat just about anything, but the female must devour the male. The male lives his whole life cycle to copulate once. And he dies in the action.
Right.
And he cannot leave her. So she has to eat him, or she can't go lay the eggs, and then everybody dies.
Right. Right.
So that is its opportunity presents itself when the male has reached maturity and is at the end of his life.
Right.
And the female is a bigger version of the praying mantis. So when you see the smaller ones, it's a male.
It's a male. And Joanne Miranda has asked, where can you get this deck? Links are below. It's purchase responsibly, know your limits. We're here to share, not to sell, but directly from Diana. And the email is in the description.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Joanne.
Yeah. And then we have one of your favorite cards, the hippopotamus.
Yes, there's another stranger to so many people because unless you see them in the zoo. And hippopotamus is quite large, but hippopotamus can move. And hippopotamus is very aggressive at night. If you go on safari in Africa, and like usually it's a motel, but out there they have like huts. You go from your friend's cabin to your house, you have to call down to the concierge to come and get you because you never know where a hippo is at night. They come on shore to eat, they come on shore to mate, and they come on shore to deliver. And they're aggressive in their protection because they don't want nobody touching them. And they can run. Now, a rhino might run and attack, but in the middle of it all, he stops because he forgot what he was doing. Not hippo. She'll charge in the dark. She's got great eyesight. When she's in the water, is she touching the ground or is she moving her feet? It's like that duck we've talked about many, many times. How hard she has to paddle to move.
Yeah.
So, and they must live in 2 worlds at once.
Yes. Oh, of course. Then we have card 24, which is snake.
Yes. The magician. Mongoose, it takes 2 mongoose, the little varmint mongoose, to attack a cobra. And what they do is work together and hang on to the flared cowl of the snake and then start beating it around. But though it is the snake and it is about transmutation, transformation, all the trans words. It's also about the magician, the flute,
Right.
because you can train a snake. Snakes like people. They're very cuddly. They're reptiles. They like to get warm next to you.
Sure.
And the same thing with tarantulas for that matter. But in this case, is he, we've got a man of the desert and a hut behind them and a basket to keep the snake in. And he mesmerizes that flute. So now this is a card of trickery.
Sure.
Or use your own magic wisely.
Right.
Exactly. There's so many different connotations in that card.
Absolutely. Which is one of the things that you can, if people do purchase this, there's that opportunity to connect with it because you bring your experience with you. You do get the keys. However, you do encourage people to use their own experiences. And so then we have card 25, Kangaroo.
Nurture. Kangaroos this is also no going back. No going back. So the baby kangaroo spends anywhere from 9 to 12 months in its mother's pouch. And the birth of that little baby kangaroo, it's blind and it has to climb from the womb all the way through the fur to find the pouch because the mother is like T-Rex. She can't do anything with her arms.
Mm-hmm.
And also, not only is it about taking care of things, like if you got it with the Weigh It Out card or the Cauldron card, how long do you need to let this simmer? How long do you have? Because once you go forward, you cannot go back. Kangaroo cannot go backwards. It has to hop and in the middle of being in the air, start to turn its body around in order to even go anywhere near where it came from.
Wow.
So it's always with fresh eyesight and it moves forward.
Love that. Then we have card 26. You call this the cycle of life.
Yeah. Here lies what? A person, the past that has haunted you, someone who's been telling you lies.
Mm-hmm.
This is a ghost that lives in one of my niece's houses. She lives in
oh my gosh,
Myra, outside of Chicago. Excuse me.
Everybody, let's take a sip.
Thank you, which I forgot to bring. Oh my gosh, my cup is in the kitchen. Oh well. So it's changing times, stepping away from, burying it, letting it go.
Sure.
And understanding that our loved ones, even if this does represent someone passing, crossing over, that sometimes it's just, you just walk away.
Right.
It only goes so far.
Yeah. And then part of, right after the cycle of life, we have card 27, which is hidden path.
Yeah. New beginnings. We have a rock. And that rock can seem like a boulder, but really all you got to do is hop over it and take the path less traveled.
Mm-hmm.
And in that little woodland, you'll see all kinds of fairies and elementals that are there willing to help you. And again, that was just the beauty of pushing it around with my baby finger.
I love that.
Spirit was certainly creating this deck.
I think so. And then the last card that we have is card 28, which is offering.
Yep. So before you ask for something, you say your prayers, right? You concentrate on it. You think about it. Who should I ask? And then after you receive, you should be grateful. So
Yes.
I often look at this as standing in gratitude first,
Mhm.
because one of the ways of manifestation is to behave as if you've already gotten it. It is yours for the having. You just have to wait till it appears in
Yes.
your vision, in your grasp, in your bank account.
Yes.
But it is behaving as if you're not a failure, and be grateful for everything. And remember to say thank you and please. There's a poem from my childhood, and because of my neighbor, my own connection to Native American cultures, this is called, I can't, hearts like doors can open with ease with very, very little keys. And don't you know that two of these are thank you, ma'am, and if you please.
Very nice.
And that has stuck with me since my mother first read it to me. And so I can't tell you how old I was the first time I heard that. Probably 2 months old, because my mom was ahead of her time. She was reading to me in 1949.
Yes, I think that's great. So those are the 28 cards, and you do get 3 pages, which are the keys, and which is an instruction, and then the meanings. So,
right. And Lemurian quartz points.
Yes,
and
I have them.
Okay, so let me get mine out here so I can show you what to do to charge them.
Oh, Sherry said, I grew up hearing the same thing.
There you go, right? Okay, so you take whichever ends, it doesn't matter, but I prefer to use the points, and you twirl them between your fingers. And you start to magnetize them. They're quartz. And when you feel you've gotten that all triggered up, try to push them together, and it's repelling like two south poles. It's ever so subtle, but you can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a pendulum.
Uh-huh.
If you get it to charge and they're repelling, the answer is no.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
So whether it's two souths or two norths, they don't want to cling together.
Right. Hi, Nicole. Thanks for being here. And so you send the deck with these Lemurian points.
Yes.
And it also comes in a little pouch.
Yeah.
So
you get 2 pouches, and before it leaves me, I bless it with the sigil that Raphael gave to me about 10 years ago to use for blessing. And so I bless over for road protection. I also suggest when it gets to you and you're ready to use it, that you smudge it or cleanse it in your favorite way, whatever that is, and make it your own from that point forward.
Yes. So it shuffles very nicely, for those of you who want to know. And it is a small deck, so you can riffle shuffle, but there's not a whole lot of cards. So
and portable.
It is very portable.
Around with a deck.
Yeah.
I have one deck preserved. I lost the original art. I had it on display in those shadow box frames because I was at an event selling them, and I didn't take them out. And I just threw them in the studio, not thinking the sunlight got on the glass and faded everything. So I have one of the original printings set aside. Then I have a deck that I use just for me. Then I have a deck that I use for the sitters. Yeah. And so, I'm just saying that I have multiple scattered around just to try and preserve them.
Yeah.
Because it's a small batch.
Bora Bora has asked, will everything be posted on your channel, Diana?
Sure. Yes. I can get, well, Gerald gave me a link to this already, so I'll be able to work with that link and get this show posted. And my stuff is on my channel. It should be anyway.
Yeah, and it's also all of the links to Diana are below. So in the description, so that you can find Diana's channel. You can also contact her via email about anything. Andrea Galvin is here. Hi, Andrea.
Andrea.
So, but
I'm with the magic man. I just pulled them in. That's you, baby.
There you go. And I got, oh, look.
Yay!
18. Everybody, you got to show your colors, everybody.
Exactly.
The world needs more color.
Exactly. Trust your gut. Trust your own gut. Be your own magician. You can make your own changes.
Yep.
By all means.
So, Diana, thank you for being here. What do you have coming up on your channel, or where will you be next? Is probably the easiest thing to ask.
At 5 o'clock, I'll be on with Allie and Wisdom Seeker Joan doing mediumship, and then
Eastern.
Then nothing till Monday, and then I'll be on with Angela, and then Tuesday Akashic Records with Sister Mary. I always want to call her Sister Mary. Linda Davis and Vivian.
Whatever, just don't call her late for dinner is what I gotta say.
Exactly. So. I've heard that story before.
Yeah.
We had to have had a past life where we were nuns together. Well, I'm sure we have. Yeah, I think.
Have you ever done a reading about that?
Well, it just keeps coming out. It does its own thing whenever we're together.
Do you know anybody who could access Akashic Records and look at that?
Well, let's see. Could it be this guy that wears these great glasses and has this outrageous handlebar mustache?
I don't know, but it could be a lot of fun.
It could be, and we could do it together.
We could get all three of us together and we could do something.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
Well, and I'm a person who, when I do read for people, I do like the idea of, I like it when the person for whom I'm reading participates and gives feedback and shares their insights. I think it's very, very exciting. It's very exciting.
And Angela and I are putting something together, hopefully for next week, Friday. Don't quote me yet. For corn dolls.
Oh, okay.
Or spirit dolls, or many different ways to make little puppets, or bigger puppets to hang on the wall.
There you go. Yes, and Linda is saying, "Think hard, Diana, about who you might know." So, but
you see the steam. Look, my curls are.
There you go. Oh, there you go.
My hair's shrinking because the humidity is building up.
So, well, thank you everybody for being here.
Definitely.
This has been great. Links to Diana's channel and how to email her to get your own personal reading or to purchase the deck are below.
I also do astrology.
Yes.
Western astrology. So
yes. And
I especially like to help people who don't understand it by doing their blueprint for them, so that once you get that under your head, under your chest, into your heart, you begin to understand how the transits work and how it affects everybody as a whole.
I love that. Links are also below to my contact information, as well as ways that you can support the channel. So I appreciate that. And so thank you all for being here. If you've watched the playback, please let us know. And again, purchase responsibly, know your limits. We're here to share, not to sell. But if you get it, tell her Tarot Stash sent you. That doesn't get you anything. That doesn't get you anything.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Sherry.
Yeah. And yes, Diana has so much knowledge. She does.
Thank you.
Diana's wonderful with astrology. She did mine, and it was great.
Thanks, Sherry.
Perfect. All right. We will see everybody later, and take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Get